Imagine a world where two people watch the same event but walk away believing two completely different realities. Guess what? That world is the one that we live in. With a hat tip to the X-Files, the truth is out there. It hasn't disappeared, it's just been drowned out by noise, by outrage, and by entertainment disguised as journalism. And today we're going to break down exactly how we allowed this to happen. We can pinpoint three key moments where journalism stopped being about truth and started being about, you guessed it, money. Number one, the repeal of the Fairness Doctrine in 1987. For nearly 40 years, the Fairness Doctrine required news outlets to present opposing viewpoints on controversial issues. This law kept bias in check, as it forced journalists to cover both sides of a story, which, quite frankly, prevented news networks from relying on news for profits. In fact, they typically lost money on their news segments. Then, in 1987, the Fairness Doctrine was repealed. News organizations no longer had to present multiple perspectives. Instead, they could do something far more profitable: tell their audience what they wanted to hear. Number two, the rise of 24-hour cable news. Before cable news, the news was simple. You tuned in at 6 p.m., got the facts, and moved on with your life. But with the rise of 24-hour networks, there was a new problem. How do you keep people watching when there's no new news to report? The solution? Make the news exciting, turn it into a story, create heroes and villains, keep people emotionally hooked. This is directly from the daytime soap opera and professional wrestling playbook. We each get to pick characters to root for and characters to root against. Remember, news outlets are paid by advertisements. The amount that advertisements pay is based on the ratings of the show, not the quality or the credibility of that show. The ratings of the show are based on what? They're based on scandals, outrage, fear, and endless crisis. Number three, the digital explosion. And then came social media, and with it, the death of traditional journalism. Why? Because online news stopped being about accuracy and it started being about engagement. If gold was capital for kings and land was capital for empires, then today clicks are capital for content creators. What drives these clicks in the digital age? Number one, outrage. The angrier you are, the longer you stay tuned, and that's a fact. Number two, tribalism and loyalty. If the news confirms your belief, you'll keep coming back. That's a fact. Number three, entertainment. As a kid, I watched with suspended disbelief as Jimmy Superfly Snuka launched himself from the top of the ropes onto the Iron Sheik. Today, I get the same dopamine rush from Fox News or MSNBC. And guess what? I'm not alone. Now let's talk real journalism for a moment. Admittedly, there's a part of me that applauds the watershed moment that social media has provided the average Joe. Like me. More voices to choose from. Sounds good, right? But what are the rules, the norms, and the standards for content creators? I haven't received that memo yet. But in real journalism, there are rules, norms, and standards. And these guidelines were largely self-policed by the journalist communities, not an oversight committee or an algorithm. Why? Because credibility mattered. Did they always get it right? Of course not. We're talking about fallible human beings doing their jobs imperfectly, just as we all are. However, the cornerstone of those standards were: number one, independence, no favors, no gifts, no financial ties. Number two, verification, cross-check every fact. And number three, accountability. If you're wrong, you correct it. So if your news source is selling a product, promoting a brand, or protecting relationships, are they telling you the truth or selling you a narrative? For a moment, let's consider the dystopian futures envisioned by George Orwell in 1984 and Aldous Huxley in The Brave New World. Orwell warned us, who controls the past controls the future. Who controls the present controls the past. In his book 1984. Facts were controlled by the elite, and to question them was treasonous. Journalism used to be a check against this kind of manipulation, but today it often plays a role in it. Huxley, on the other hand, in The Brave New World, envisioned a future where the truth didn't really matter to the population. The main character, John, rejects this world built on engineered happiness, security, and comfort. He said, but I don't want comfort. I want God. I want poetry. I want real danger. I want freedom. I want goodness, and I want sin. Some combination of these two fictitious worlds is where we find ourselves today. Problem isn't just that truth is controlled, although it often is. It's that it's buried under so much noise that nobody even looks for it anymore. Further, the warm morphine blanket of comfort and convenience that we all enjoy significantly reduces our motivation to seek the truth. The fight for truth isn't lost, but it's up to us to think critically, to ask questions, and to demand better journalism. In democracy, the people get the government they deserved. Alexis de Tocqueville. Well, guess what? In the information age, the people get the news they deserve. Matt DiGeronimo. Until next time. Hey, by the way, if you want me to continue to make these videos, you gotta let me know by hitting the like, subscribe, share, comment buttons. I'm starting to feel a bit lonely out here, guys.